All right. This first question is from Kathy, and it is quite a question. I'm going to see if I can condense this a little bit from this novel that Kathy wrote to us. It says, I have a site for people with multiple sclerosis since 2011. I have really put concentrated effort into it in the last year and a half, and things have been taking off. I blog twice a month, post a podcast episode twice a month, and I have a weekly newsletter. I'm in the process of getting a course together in a membership site called Patients Getting Paid to help others in the chronic disease community learn how to find flexible employment to better accommodate their health issues. Let's see. She's going to do a podcast like ours. She works for several healthcare information companies, married with two kids, a dog, a house, and she has MS. Something's got to give. I thought I would back off of the podcast and blog and hire my kids to recycle past content on social media and allow people to guest blog and go full throttle on patients getting paid. However, it feels like I have recently achieved critical mass on her multiple sclerosis site. My podcast downloads and email signups are blowing up, and companies are now approaching me to partner with them. But my course and membership could also be really big.
Okay, I
So
see.
could my current site. Calgon, take me away. Oh, that's classic, Kathy. Classic 80s commercial there. I know this is a good problem to have. Do you see the path to maintain my current site somehow while still building the new thing and maintaining my own health, or should I park it and work on the new thing?
All right. Can you turn that the noisemaker down over there? You see the noisemaker? Like it's like really loud, and I'm seeing it coming through here. Like it's making little volume things bounce, which means it's way too loud. Okay, there we go. All right. So basically, what Kathy's question has going on here is she started two things. One of them was a blog that she was really passionate about that is has traction. The other thing that she created seems to be getting more traction and has more immediate opportunity for reward. Okay. So this is the danger of starting two things and the blessing of starting two things. The danger is you can see it's pushing Kathy to the edge, right? The blessing is you've got two things that might work, and if both are working, man, you don't want to give up one to to lose the other or whatever. So, in general, what we usually tell people is go after the thing that gets the most traction. Okay. When we started our businesses, we had multiple websites when we first started out, and looking back, if we could point to one mistake that we always talk about that we probably made, is when one of the things took off, we should have stopped doing all of the other things and went all in to triple down, double down, quadruple down on the thing that was getting the more traction. If you've got businesses, Kathy, that are contacting you, businesses have money they're willing to spend. If you've got people reaching out to you begging for more, that's exactly where you need to go. And you don't want to kill yourself like in the process. You don't want to just wear yourself out to the point where you burn out completely and they both fail. You can do two things halfway, or you can do one thing really, really, really good. That doesn't mean you have to totally get rid of the other thing. If you want to keep blogging once a month or something on the other podcast, or like who says you've got to release a podcast every week? Like, why can't you have a podcast, every month? Or why can't you do like a season of podcasts and then you park it for a month or two and you work on something else? Like, there's more than one way than just throwing out the baby with the bathwater. But if you've got traction, if you've got people reaching out to you, if you've got people begging you to make something for them and they are trying to throw money at you, you really need to focus on that one and make that successful enough to hire people to help you with all the other stuff.
So the super cool thing is that you now are going to have a large audience of people to ask, "Hey, do you want this new paid offer?" So take advantage of that. Like keep doing what's working and don't give up on your plans, but use this audience to kind of determine the viability of your new thing that you want to do.
And also too, like if you park something for a while, that doesn't mean you can't go back to it. I launched a podcast a while back called the Bible Business Plan, and I got to the point just like you, two kids, two dogs, all the other stuff we've got going on, and I looked down and said I can't do everything, and I had to park that podcast, but it's still there. Like I write down ideas for it all the time, and I'm thinking about doing it again in like seasons. where I can like actually record like maybe 10 and roll them out over a few weeks, and then the season ends, and then we come back and do another season. And I've been looking at other like platforms. Like I'm thinking about using Anchor for that specific podcast because I can do it on my. There's a app called Anchor where you can click a button, record a podcast, and it automatically uploads. There's some downside to it. There's some content problems in their terms and conditions, and there's also ads at the beginning of all of their shows. But it would be a way for me to be able to bring that podcast back, which is kind of a little side passion project of mine. But just because I had to stop it so that we could sell the live event, so that we could sell memberships, it's not gone. It's just I can start back up at any time and it will be fine. I was actually looking the other day and it had like 26,000 downloads this year already, and I'm not even doing anything with it. So those things just sit there and they're waiting for it, right? We right now are going back through the back catalog of all of these Q&As, and I hired a new editor to put some of these old Q&As on YouTube. And Jocelyn and I actually have another podcast in the queue called Q&A with S&J, where we were rolling some of these Q&As out. We're going to go back and use those there. So we're going to repurpose that content. So we started these other two podcasts. They're just kind of on the side, but we're going to come back to them. So don't think it's like over forever. If you really are passionate about that other thing, you can always come back to it later. But man, if you got a chance to make money, go take a chance to make money, because that's what drives everything forward in your online business. So good question.